Bottom line of it is this. The Bears are the second worst team in essentially every offensive category. Hembo sent me these numbers. We could have put a list of like 9 categories on this screen in which they are the second worst offense in the NFL. Only the Jets are worst in all of those. Again, the Jets are winless and the Bears are 500, so their defense has carried them to this point. But let's start by talking about the quarterbacks, because Foles is not the only one who's hurt.
Right. Mitchell Trubisky's been out with a shoulder injury. Obviously, he was benched anyway, so maybe people haven't noticed, but he is hurt as well. They have the bye this week, as you mentioned. When they come back in week 12, the story will be who's going to play quarterback. And listening to Matt Nagy there, it seems like he doesn't know yet. And it could depend on the health. If one of them's healthy and the other is not, the decision becomes easy. But if they're both healthy, then the Bears have to assess what's their best option going forward into this final part of the season. When they moved off of Trubisky for Foles earlier this year, it seemed like they wanted to make that a permanent move. But obviously they expected Foles to perform better and the offense to perform better under Foles than it has. So they have a difficult decision to make.
Clearly, but generally speaking, if both are available, is there a reason to believe that a decision has already been made by Nagy that Foles keeps in?
No, I think he's serious about the self-scouting. Teams really do a lot of introspection during bye weeks. I mean, I don't know what Trubisky's shown in practice in the meantime that would make them want to go back to him. Maybe it's something, but I would think they'll lean toward Foles. That's the guy he picked, right? You could have had you could have had Jameis Winston, Cam Newton, Phillip Rivers. All these guys were out there. They wanted Nick Foles because that's the guy Nagy thought could run the offense. So I would think he'd get one more shot, but they don't know.
Again, this is still a team, even though it doesn't feel that way as I bring the crew in here, that is right in the middle of a playoff chase in the NFC. So, Dominique, I'm thinking about the team that you joined when you first came into the NFL. That was a Ravens team that just a few years before had won a Super Bowl with an offense that at one stretch went 4 weeks without scoring a touchdown. But that defense, led by Ray Lewis, was just that good. What was that mindset of that group?
Yeah, I mean, Ray was still there. They had a lot of great players still there, and they still had the same mindset where you don't point the finger at the offense. And I think it's human nature to look up when somebody's not doing their job or unit's not doing their job to say they have to do better. But in our locker room, and Chuck Pagano, who's the defensive coordinator, was a part of that team too. What we talked about was finding ways to score on defense. And I think Chuck's going to bring that same type of spirit to this defense now. It's like we pitch the ball when you got interceptions or fumbles because we needed to score. It wasn't about putting pressure on the offense to do better. It was like we need to do more. And that works sometimes, but I think it's important from a psychological mindset to keep a team from fracturing, to focus on what you can do and what you can do better in the defense. They certainly, with guys like Khalil Mack, can certainly find ways to make more plays and try to set up the offense to put them in a better situation than they are currently putting them in.
So, RC, they shouldn't be pointing fingers, but we can. That's our job. So as you look at the situation, how much of this, the total struggles, I mean, watching them play offense, it hurts your eyes. How much of that is on the coaches and how much of that is on the quarterbacks?
I mean, I think it's on everybody. Listen, Matt Nagy and men like Matt Nagy are the reasons that divorce exists. Because we pick wrong sometimes. And he picked wrong. He fell in love with Nick Foles. He felt like that was going to be his dude going forward. And they weren't a match. And so now he has to sit through this bye week. And if I'm Mitchell Trubisky, you know what I'm on the sidelines doing at practice? I'm acting like Booby Miles chasing Gary Gaines down the sideline. If you won't win, put Booby in. Let Booby spin. Because right now, Mitchell Trubisky has a leg to stand on. Nick Foles is not doing it. They've actually regressed to me offensively. So if you're Matt Nagy, understand you made a mistake. Understand the first mistake was you decided that you didn't want to change your offense to fit the skills and the needs of a quarterback that was drafted number 2 overall. Make the decision, go back to Mitchell Trubisky, try to save your team, your locker room, and your job.
I have sort of looked at it that way as well. And David, obviously, you cover the college game for us so closely and so regularly. What did you expect from Trubisky when he came into the league, and what are you watching in this Bears situation right now?
Well, first of all, I'm just so glad RC's on here for this analogy because he's going to get it completely. He's been a fan of a team year after year where the defense brings it, and you're just always like, wait, give me something on the offensive side of the football. LSU, time and time again for 25 years, just wasting defense after defense. if I'm a Bears fan now, I'm like, good Lord, man. What do I do? Like, we play great, and consistently on the other side of the football, we've had like 3 good years in 25 years. So, I mean, they're so good. They keep them in the football game. And I hear you, Nick. You want to keep that positive rah-rah. But I can just tell you as a defensive player, too, when you keep putting me out there after 3 plays, and I get a turnover and I put you in scoring position 3 times and you give me 3 points on Monday Night Football, bruh, I'm going to try to stay positive. I ain't got nothing good to say to you.
I'm with you. I'm probably like that also, but I was talking about people who are mentally tougher than me. We started this by talking about Ray Lewis. I'm telling you the mindset that Ray Lewis brought to the locker room. When I showed up and the offense wasn't giving us no points, I was like, I'm not that good. I'm good enough to be good. I'm not good enough to be good for me and good for you. I'm talking what Ray Lewis thinks, not what Dominique Foxworth thinks. Dominique Foxworth thinks your ass better score some points. We're going to need some support.
Okay. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.